Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Piglet here once again. And I'm Duffy Duck here, and look at that, it's snowing! Well, not necessarily in reality though, Duffy, but to be more accurate, in-game, it's actually snowing. So, anyways, we are from the likes of the Moxie Toys, we should say. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the Nintendo Wii. So, last time we have managed to go through day 11 all the way up to day 12, whilst the forms of day 11, despite we have a terrible rough time during the forms of dream gliding, and also we did manage to able to beat the likes of Rouge the Bat during the forms of figure skating. So today, we're about to begin with day 13, I think we might also do day 14, and probably day 15 afterwards, so we'll go for those 3 days all in one. So even then though, because we have not done this ever since, I think last time we did done 3 days per video, specifically from the first part of this Let's Play. So even then, and also same applies for part 2 as well. So even then, let's get this thing started with the new event that we're going to be introducing to ourselves, which is Half Pipe. And fundamentally though, this will be the last training session for the singles festival mode. So even then, whilst we still might also able to come across into some of those unseen events throughout, especially noticeable whenever we get into team festival mode, then you probably know what we're going to be talking about this. So anyway, so let's get through with Half Pipe. So basically, we're going to be doing on a snowboard event, as to be expected, and here, we need to perform certain tricks based off of what motions you can be able to perform. And then, keep that in mind is the fact that, as you can see, that we actually got ourselves points based off of landing, because as a result, in order to actually get extra points, is that you really not recommend you perform specific tricks if you're about to be close to the actual ground. So as a result, in order to actually just get some points, it's just perform tricks. And not only that, you need to flick the Wiimote at the right time, so just in case you can able to actually jump a little bit higher, so that way you can able to get enough time until you're able to perform another set of tricks, like, you know, backside 720 degrees, and backflips, and frontside, and front flips, and the list goes on when it comes to performing tricks and stuff. So, and obviously the entire objective on this particular training session is that we need to aim for 30 points at minimum. So in this case we got enough as it is. So hopefully we're also guaranteed to able to get ourselves a great rating for 4 points. And yeah, if you can tell, we got ourselves perfect rating, because as a result, then again, if you somehow did not land successfully after that performing tricks and stuff, you lose your combos for specifically for landing successfully. So keep that in mind, and plus as a result, it really helps you out if you really want to guarantee to get yourselves a gold during the forms of, I won't classify for saying in day 16 if I recall, but then again, we'll find out during whenever we get to that specific point. So anyways though, so let's move on to the next 2 events, the main events we should say. Next up we have is Ski Cross, and after that we're about to be revisiting back to the forms of figure skating once again. Although, except this time around though, we can now able to do a proper performance, but we'll get to that until, you know, after we're done with Ski Cross first. So anyways, let's go ahead and then get this thing to it, and looks like it's still snowing as to be expected, so yeah, we forgot to mention about this is the fact that today's day is the forms of the 13th of January in 2020, so there's not much else going on for this point today, apart from the fact that there are some new films that has been came out on DVD, despite the fact that we're not gonna mention about this too much, because then again, with the copper rules system we have to put up with. So anyways, let's get to it with the actual Ski Cross event. So yeah, let's get to it. And as for players wise, we got Mario, Donkey Kong, oh no, what did I say Donkey Kong? Dr. Eggman of all things, and Sonic the Hedgehog. So in this case we got 75% Sonic characters and 25% Mario character, which either way though, that's to be expected by that specific knowledge at this point in time. So hopefully this event goes a little bit more quicker in comparison to the forms of snowboard cross, because as you can tell, that if you lay the Wii Remote downwards, then you can able to actually just feel the actual momentum speed going. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and I think we should probably save the special move for last, because, well, if we manage to get close towards the end of the finishing line, because as a result, well, we'll just simply do it. And the new record for this event is just a minute, so it's not too difficult and not too complicated either, so even then, let's go ahead and flick the remote upwards and perform a special move while you're in midair, and stop at the almost exactly towards the edge of that specific fence. So yeah, kudos to that. And to top it off though, Piglets, that as you mentioned this before, that we actually got ourselves a new record. Yep, top notch as it is, and I think we'll guarantee to get ourselves a glorious gold medal as to be expected, so. But you know, you probably get the idea for that point. So yeah, a few things we want to explain about this actually is the fact that there's actually a new tour that's being comes up during the forms of, I would say until this Wednesday in particular, that the new Mario Kart Tour, the new tour, as far as I'm aware, is going to be hosting on during the forms of this Wednesday. And this time around, it's more likely a continuation of a snowy themed tours and stuff like that. Oh, do we get something from here? Oh yeah, we got the emblem. So yeah, by simply aiming for first place without even like bumping into anyone. So that's pretty easy though, if you manage to get yourselves your controls going and just overall self-explanatory stuff. Yeah, I digress. So now let's move on to the forms of the third and the final event for day 13, which appears to be figure skating for the 4th time, and except this time, as you can tell, it actually says free, which this means we have a few different selections of songs, but I think we should probably go for Waltz of the Flowers, the Nutcracker, although despite the fact that the actual Christmas has already been over and done with until the next 300 days or something like that, yeah, because of how the fact that you know, this year we're gonna have a leap year because of the Tokyo 2020's Summer Olympics is about to be hosting it during, you know, at some point in July the 24th of 2020, which we're still looking forward to it though, and especially we're super hyped about it. Especially though we can now able to actually deal with the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 Let's Play, although the catch is though is the fact that I'm pretty sure Mickey Mouse, we should say, that he mentioned about this before, ever since in Super Mario Kart Let's Play so far, that, you know, with our Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games, that particular Let's Play is no longer there, but we figure we might as well able to do a redo Let's Play of that particular game at some point in June, before about a month until whenever we decide to jump right in to Tokyo 2020, because we figure we might as well able to get these games out of the way before we're able to actually move on to the new installment, or in this case for this matter, the recent installment. So, but God knows if they're actually going to be releasing the next one, specifically in, you know, Beijing 2022, in during the forms of the Winter Olympics and stuff like that, because we have not got the next Winter Olympic Games ever since in Sochi 2014, because of, you know, the 2018's Winter Olympics has been owned by a different company. So, yeah, by the forms of Ubisoft and stuff like that. So, but God knows, we'll find out in during the forms of next year, because it's a little bit too early to predict at this point, because after all, this is the actual beginning part of the forms of 2020 already. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves for this point at this point in time. So, yeah, as you can see that, you know, we're going to be going for figure skating once again, and except this time, they remember in the forms of day 9 that we didn't get the medal to begin with, probably because of how the fact that we are actually doing a shorter performance. But here, we need to do a proper main big performance this time around, and to top it off, we might actually get a medal after performance ends. And also, most of these songs and performance goes a little bit longer in comparison to the forms of how it does it on the first time around, because normally we actually did always choose Swan Lake to begin with, and now we're going to be able to, it doesn't really matter which ones you're going to go for either Ave Marie, or especially noticeable with Waltz of the Flowers and all that jazz and stuff. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what songs choices you might actually go for. But we go for the Nutcracker as it is. So anyways, let's go ahead and perform it. Oh, and exactly 150 points. Yeah, with a whole bunch of zeros to top it off. That's pretty cool though, especially towards at the end though at least. So, and once again, the second time we got a new record on this particular event right here, because, well, obviously we're just simply good at it. Plus, you know, with the actual rhythm curve, that you know you have to like flick the Wiimote downwards until you're able to get yourselves, you know, your extra amount of points depending on the actual music rhythm beats. So, yeah, that's how it goes basically. So yeah, Sonic is in 3rd place, Bowser Jr. is in 2nd, and then we are the number 1, as to be expected. But hopefully eventually, and so likely in the later days, or to be more accurate, day 15 and 16, that we might as well try our best if we're able to actually go for gold medals as soon as we can. But then again, we'll find out during a later time though. But for now, day 13, oh wait a minute, let me guess, another rival appears, isn't it? I wonder if they're going to be bringing us anything different to the table, but except this time it's going to take place in Alpine skiing giant slalom, so let's see who it is. I felt sorry for you and let you win the Alpine downhill event, but it's not going to happen this time. When it comes to the Alpine giant slalom, I'm number 1. Hehehehe. What? King Boo is actually having a rematch against with us? But except this time around though, it's going to take place in a different event, which is, you know, giant slalom, so... Although, theoretically though, Piglet, it might actually function the same thing for how it does it when we did that before in downhill event, except now with a lot of emphasis on the forms of, like, tricky stuff. So yeah, King Boo is going to be starting on exactly the same place as the forms of how it does it on downhill, and you probably get the idea. So anyways, let's get to it. And hopefully though, I think this will actually be the last time we're going to be seeing this event though, because I'm pretty darn sure that until whenever we get to Team Festival mode or something, that I don't think we might actually come across into this event at all for the sake of clarity. So even then we'll try to get it done. And hopefully we're also able to do a much more better performance as the forms of how it does it on the main event, because we accidentally just managed to get ourselves our time penalty and stuff like that. But hopefully, and also to top it off, we're also able to actually just bypass all of these gates completely, because I think to get the emblem on this event is that, well, obviously you need to go after, or in this case, go through all those gates basically. So even then, after all, we got a awesome perfect right here. So we'll guarantee to get ourselves the emblem, and also, I think we might actually get a chance to get ourselves a great rating, because, well, we didn't get any single time penalties or anything, so who knows to that. So yeah, we actually did a lot better than before, well, except the fact that we don't get a new record, because the only time you can only get new records though is of course participating for the actual normal events themselves, and especially noticeable with just anything really. But if you try to compete against with the rivals and all that stuff, it will not count to, like, giving you, like, the new record and stuff. Yeah, that's probably where it comes to that, though, but I digress. So, day 13 is fully completed, which is kind of like, the same day, where we're in right now, on the 13th of January. Well, not anymore anyway, though. Well, I don't know why I truly say that, right? So, anyways. So, yeah, we're now on to day 14, and just like day 6, it's going to be a day off, which means that as you can see right there on the top left corner, that as you can see we actually got a whole bunch of star tokens, as you can see, probably because of the fact that we actually did manage to take a break for a few moments notice, and then as a result we managed to stop recording some parts throughout. So, yeah, that's why we managed to able to actually just realize that our star tokens counter was actually increasing upwards. So, but I digress. So let's see what's anything new in between each shops in between. So let's go ahead and investigate. So first off is of course the music shop. So let's go and purchase the Super Mario World and Super Mario 64's background music, and also Sonic Heroes and Ocean Palace, which are both from Sonic Heroes potentially, even though that those tracks are usually just original musical tracks as far as I'm aware. So, and in fact, because we actually now got ourselves the forms of, well, I would say Sonic Heroes, you know, Ocean Powers music, we could potentially try to able to play, you know, Ocean Powers events, or in this case, the actual Dream Alpine, until specifically in the second playthrough, which is of course the Team Festival mode. Then, well, we're probably not going to discuss on that right about now, because, well, obviously we need to get some distractions on the actual shopping mode to begin with. So, anyways, before we move on to the next shop, which is of course the actual boutique shop and stuff, let's customize our skiing, because, well, we have not done that for quite some time. And in fact, we'll place a Mario sticker here, and we should probably purchase a Mario banner right here. So even then, we could able to make it a little bit more decorative and stuff. Sure, it might be a little bit too simple for our taste, but at least on the upside though, we'll just try to make it a little bit more of a match-up between mostly characters. Like we've done Silver's snowboard, and also we've done Mario's ski gear, and all it needs left now is of course the forms of the bobsledge, as well as Bowser. What are you? Why are you in a hurry? You can't just budge Donkey Kong or anything. Like, what the heck are you? Oh my god. Why is he such in a hurry? Of course, if you probably noticed already, it's the fact that some of these characters might actually wander around in the shops for quite some time. And in fact, you can able to actually aim with your Wii Remote cursor to those characters, and you can able to press the A button so that you can able to interact with them by simply able to actually just to do like some sort of like a victory animation and stuff. And to be honest with you, we're probably not going to look upon the library too much, because obviously we'll just have to move on, and plus we have to wait until you know, later on for this Let's Play. So even then, it's now to day 15, so naturally speaking, we've got 2 days left until the closing ceremony for, well, the actual Winter Olympics in Vancouver 2010, or to be more specifically, the singles event. So in here, we got 4 full-fledged, you know, events, as you can see right there. Well, only 3 of them most likely. So first off, we have moguls, as well as from that, we got ice hockey and curling, which we'll talk more about curling until later on, though we forgot to mention about this. But for now on, let's just mainly focusing on the next event we're going to be participating in for is moguls. So we've done this before, but we can able to actually hopefully guarantee to aim for the gold. So hopefully that checks out from here. Alright, so let's get this thing to it. I think in order to actually get like an emblem for this event is that you have to, well, you notice these little turn points, as you can see, with those little green arrows and stuff like that. All we need to do is just basically we need to aim for all of them. So hopefully we'll perform a lot of tricks and stuff, although we could potentially try to use the special move right there, but I'm thinking about is that I'm probably not going to use it that much, because otherwise then it'll probably just be a waste of opportunity to use that. So yeah, that's as far as you can able to notice that. And I'm very glad that the actual tricks on this though is actually way better than I expected, because, well, during the actual training session on this event though, we seem to able to actually just to time it a little bit too late when it comes to flicking the Wiimote upward. But I'm glad we actually did a little bit more improvement. Although in the training though, the actual aim for that is just trying to get all of those turn points, and that's all there is to know. But in here, well, we just have to get ourselves turns and stuff, and the amount of time you need to spend on time on. And also during the air, we need to perform some tricks and stuff. So naturally speaking, we actually got a new record for that. So kudos to that. Pretty easy though to able to actually just to realize about that stuff, because, well, as I mentioned this before, unlike in Sochi 2014, that it's all about a timing requirement. And also I'm very glad that, you know, with the actual tricks that we did before, I'm glad we actually going for the actual Wii Remote's motions, you know, motion movements, because unlike Sochi 2014 counterparts of this event, you have to do the ridiculous amount of those little arm movements that you have to follow, and as a result, you have to keep up with it. So yeah, I'm very glad it just makes things a little bit too simple. So, oh, we got another emblem too. Okay, perform a special trick while simply go for moguls or half pipe. It doesn't really matter what those two events you might go for to get that particular emblem. That if you do manage to do that though, then you'll be achieved as usual. So anyways, we now got about 211 points, which I don't think that most other players were able to catch up at this rate. So now let's move on to ice hockey, and here we can now able to actually have not only the Wii remote, but also the nunchuck attached to that too. Because if you remember from, well, I don't know, suppose if you guys noticed, that we did a Let's Play of Mario Sports Mix back in Journey Forms of 2014, that despite the fact that the quality itself is okay, but except the commentary is a little bit off. I don't know if we can able to redo that particular Let's Play at some point, but not now though, because even then we need to keep our views count alive. So anyways though, so let's go ahead and set up our team here. So we got Sonic, Amy, and Mario to join with us. So, and we are competing against with Team Bowser, such as with Bowser Jr. and Bowser, and Dr. Eggman, and Vector. So, yeah, almost like a 50-50. Well, I don't know what I truly explain about this all that much, because, well, there's not much else I can compromise with it. So yeah, you remember the forms of our Let's Play of Mario and Sonic, well, usually in Mario Sports Mix, as I like to say, that, you know, in the one of those sports called hockey, we always attempt to use the Wii Remote and the Nunchuck combo, because I feel like the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo does manage to work out pretty well, because otherwise though, with the directional pad on the Wii Remote sideways, it might be pretty difficult to control it, because you have to like deal with like a freedom movement. Whilst the forms of the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo, it makes maneuvering around a lot easier, kind of like how the football games basically. So except the fact that we have to like, well, just try to get a lot of emphasis on that. So whilst unlike the forms of Sochi 2014, that we do have to get a lot of emphasis on controlling the Wii U gamepad for, you know, the actual joystick movements, which is actually very accurate enough as far as it will go. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, usually the great thing about the forms of the Wii U gamepad, especially with, well, I don't know about you, but either way though, let's just forget about it. And look at that, we actually got ourselves the first score by the forms of just very simple, straightforward shots, so it's not bad, especially noticeable with the actual, despite we need to keep up with the actual passing, because again, if you remember on training mode, or the training session we should say, that normally we have to able to actually pass to each other, so that way you can able to build up your special meter and stuff. So, what happened? What happened? Let's have a look at the replay. I'm curious about this. Oh my god, Bowser just somehow almost like shoots the actual plank almost into their goal. Oh man, that is weird. Anyway, the first period ends, and I think we should probably let Mario just to be a computer player or something, because that way it just makes the actual goalie segment a lot easier. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, because, well, I almost felt kind of worried about that, because otherwise though we'll let the other team score that goal. Well, usually most of the time anyway. So anyways, let's go ahead and, you know, just try to keep building up with our special meter, or the special move, if I like to say, just to call it. So, yeah, there's not much else we can say about the forms of ice hockey, honestly. It's actually pretty fun though, especially because of how the fact that how much energetic as it looks, but so whenever we get to the next mode for festival mode, it should just make things a little bit interesting, because, well, we'll find out soon enough whenever we get to it. So, although sometimes the actual goalie can be a little bit luck dependent with computer players at times, because they always get like too much room or something, which I have no idea why I'm truly saying that right, but anyway. And we got ourselves the next goal here. Sometimes it gets a lot of emphasis on Wackelfest if you desperately want to go for the goal and stuff like that. But usually because I'm always becomes like super desperate sometimes, but I digress. And I'm very glad that, as I mentioned this before, that the actual getting a plunk during the course of the forms of the set point, I'm very glad it's actually pretty easy to able to time with, unlike the forms of how it does in Sochi 2014 counterpart, because I swear I was gonna able to actually just try to get it straight away in Sochi 2014, but the amount of times I was gonna press the A button at the right time, but I just didn't time it very well. But at least unlike in this installment though, it is really easy to be able to get ourselves the actual plunk by that specific set point. So, anyways now we got 4-0, which is pretty flawless as far as you might as well know. Because then again, the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combo controls is actually really easy to set up, especially in ice hockey in mind. Yeah, because we've already experienced Mario Sports Mix before in the actual hockey sport, and that's the prime example we actually use in this control setup. So, yeah, top notch, and, well, conquered it, basically. So I don't think Team Bowser were able to actually just to go ahead and improve themselves for any time soon, but I digress. So we got ourselves a nice glorious gold, alongside with Amy, Sonic, and Mario, because, you know, those 4 characters also get, well, 3 characters I should say, also get the gold. And I think we actually got about 1 more event for day 15, and hopefully that should be good to go. Although, sadly though, we didn't get the emblem for that part just because of how the fact that I don't know how to get the emblem exactly, but then again, I'll research on that as soon as we're able to move on to day 16 and stuff like that for that nature. So now let's move on to the final event on the forms of day 15, which is none other than curling itself. And you know I said this before about the fact that I actually think that this version is a lot better than the forms of Sochi 2014's version in my opinion, probably because of the actual music and everything, and also the actual the Wii Remote's adjusting throwing motion was actually very flawless, and especially noticeable how the fact that it does manage to register the motion stuff very well, unlike the forms of sometimes a little bit unresponsive in Sochi 2014. Honestly, out of all the actual events in the forms of this game in particular, I will have to admit though, this is one of my least favorite events, because, well, there's nothing bad or anything, it's just that, well, there's this one annoying element of that specific event, especially if you play it with computer players, that, if you know, you probably noticed already about the actual, the event itself works. We have to simply aim a stone at the center of the target, which is pretty self-explanatory, which, anyway, it's not too complicated, all in all. But the bad thing about this event, though, for me, though, is the fact that the rubber banding AI can go, like, well, go to hell and stuff. Because, well, we'll point it out whenever we get to, well, it's not so bad on Stone 1, but it's on Stone 2 all the way up to 4. Because, you know, we got ourselves 4 stones each in journey forms of each end. So, yeah, because, well, usually in the first go is actually not bad, but whenever we get to throw 2 and throw 2 all the way up to throw 4, this is what the rubber banding AI gets a little bit so stingy for the most part, because if you're expecting if you weren't able to try to gather around with these stones and all that stuff, well, we'll find out exponentially until whenever we get to those throws, even especially noticeable with you know, just trying to cope with that specific stuff. So anyways, we got 2 stones in, so that should be okay, I suppose. But this is what I mean right now. As you can see, one of our stones has been knocked over completely, and as a result, we have to, like, perform some sort of a strategy department. I get it, strategy is always a key factor for this point, but the bad thing about this is that, well, the AI in this event can get pretty randomized at times, which, Daffy, what are you doing? This isn't Wii Sports, you know. Well, I'm sorry about that, Picklers, because I'm keep on getting used to, like, holding down the B button at all times, just to throw it at the same time. Yeah, anyway, so let's go ahead and, hopefully, just try to not to knock over that stone completely. Although we've only got 1 point so far, which is, well, okay I guess, but then again, it really all comes down to the forms of the rubber banding AI sometimes. No matter what though, we'll probably knock over that stone over here, so that we could able to actually get a lot more points if it's predictable and stuff, but then again, it's all down to luck with computer players at times. Although, because of that though, we pretty much used to with the forms of just trying to able to skip over their turns, which even then, unlike Sochi 2014 counterparts, is the fact that in order to actually just skip the entire CPU's turns and stuff like that, you have to painfully like hold down the minus button at all times. But in here, all you need to do is basically just press the A button, that's all there is to know. Luckily we got 1 point, so at least we'll be okay from here. But it doesn't end off here though, because as to be expected, we got 2 ends, so... And this is without doubt one of the longest events in the entire game, just because of how the fact that the amount of ends you can have to put up with, then it's always like a busy work and stuff. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. So yeah, oh no, not my favorite event of the entire game, but at least I did manage to appreciate about the, some of the stuff they actually did manage to able to, some of the stuff I preferred over the likes of how it does in Sochi 2014 version of this specific event. Even though it's kind of a shame, if you really want to go for a gold, well, good luck, because otherwise the computer players will sometimes screw you over if you're not paying attention. Yeah, because otherwise though, you might end up getting lost by 1 point, or most of the time, that if you really want to make things a little bit faster for yourself. Because if you couldn't tell already, this video has gone long enough as it goes by, but until whenever we get to the team festival mode, that we might actually do some sort of like, I don't know what I'm truly trying to explain it for a bit, probably because of how the fact that there's not much else we can able to discuss upon something, so... Anyway, so we got... Oh, jeez. How am I gonna do with this? How about if we... I suppose maybe we could knock that stone off, and then we could able to get another point from here. But then again, it's all strategy based, so... Although it's not so much for luck dependent, unlike the forms of those computer players, they always knew that they always try to able to expect what's gonna come up. I don't know if this game will have some sort of like a difficulty select, whilst unlike the forms of the future games from London 2012 all the way up to recently in Tokyo 2020 Olympics, that they always have an option to have a difficulty select. Well, I don't know if that was true or not, but then again, we'll find out for ourselves for our own time. Or maybe we can able to do a Let's Play of Tokyo 2020 as much as possible, so... Alright, so now onto this last stone. I think I get a bad feeling about this, is that I'm pretty darn sure about the fact that the computer players might actually get 2 points or something, which, even though we've already tried to do it by the forms of just trying to show you guys about the actual thing itself, but I digress. Oh, we almost got that stone out, but it doesn't even matter though, because... Oh, really? Ah, they got very lucky right there. They are very lucky. See, this is what I mean right there. It's that you never know if you're gonna able to actually just try to like, well... Yeah, no, we just lost. Due to the forms of that very, very close game right there. Especially with that 1 point off from that specific team. So yeah, oh no, it's definitely one of our least favorite events of the game, actually, in my opinion. Although the only good thing about it is the fact that the actual music is pretty relaxing to listen to. That's the only good thing about it. So, at this point in time, just like Dream Gliding, we got ourselves other than the silver medal. So, and sadly we didn't get an emblem just because, well, it's all... Well, I understand this is all strategy based, but ultimately for computer players wise, it's all luck dependent. But anyways, we got another rival here, and except this time around it takes place in ski cross, so I wonder who can that be, I wonder. Ha 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 ha, oh pardon me, I was just remembering your performance in the ski cross match, you see. Ha 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 ha. Why don't we get together for a little match, you and I, although of course we already know what the outcome will be. Ha ha ha. So yes, we have ourselves the opposite Dr. Eggman, or to be more accurate, Eggman Nega. Ever since in the Sonic Rush games, especially noticeable with the, well, the Sonic Rivals games to top it off too. If you really want to play through those games, or I'm sure most people seem to don't care about the Sonic Rivals games all that much, but the only games they most likely cared for is of course the Sonic Rush duology games. And of course, Eggman Nega has been voiced by the same actor as the normal Dr. Eggman, like Mike Pollock and stuff like that, but except a noticeable difference between regular Eggman compared to Eggman Nega is of choice of clothing. So, at least I'm glad that Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games does manage to able to bring Eggman Nega as a playable character, whilst the Forms of Rio 2016, specifically on the 3DS version, does manage to offer him becomes a playable character as well. But for a console game anyway, though, that we're most likely talking about, not so much as the handheld installments as for this point, probably because of how the fact that we still haven't got that much in terms of capture cards or anything like that. So, but let's not get ahead of ourselves though, because the ultimate goal is the same, so basically we need to aim for first place. It's actually pretty easy though, compared to Snowboard Cross to me though, just because then again, if you get your learning curve going, especially noticeable with the actual lot of emphasis on steering and stuff, and also you don't perform tricks or anything like that, and also that Eggman Nega was actually kind of slow at points. But regardless of everything else though, Piglets, we pretty much dominated, just like before.
Yes, perfect.
So yeah, technically speaking, if you remember from, I would say in Sonic Rivals 2 or something like that, if you played that game, basically Silver managed to come across into Eggman Nega into the alternate universe and stuff like that. So generally speaking, that one might be Silver's kind of enemy or something like that. I really don't know, just because then again, because of the actual there are so many Sonic games out there. But anyway, day 15 is completed, and now let's move on to day 16, which I'm afraid to tell you for this point, guys, we'll have to wait until specifically on Wednesday. So even then, yeah, this is the last day before the closing ceremony, so I guess we'll end things off here. So join us until on Wednesday for more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, as now we are moving on to the final day, specifically day 16, all the way up to closing ceremony. So see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.